Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Sendible's Deep Dive. My name is Savannah and I am part of the customer success team here at Sendible. We are so delighted that you are joining us today. Just a few pieces that you need to know beforehand. I will be joined later in the session by Julie from our support team. She will help me cover the incredible topic of RSS feeds and auto posting. Such an incredible feature with a ton that you can do with it. So I definitely want to highlight some of its best features and show it off a little bit. Before we dive in, I just want to do some housekeeping tips. First, you have to your, it's to your right, you have the chat box. So the chat box is going to be where you can include answers to our icebreaker, which I'll ask in a minute. And then to the left of the chat box, you will also see the questions tab. Now, the questions tab is a place where you can add any questions relevant to the topic that we're trying to cover. Again, we do want to keep it to RSS feeds and auto posting just to make sure that we can cover them and that we stay as focused as possible. My plan will be to read those out, and Julie and I will help answer those together at the end of the session. All right, so the icebreaker for today, because it is officially December 1st and I am ready, is what is your go-to Christmas movie? So my go-to Christmas movie, while I have a lot, it doesn't feel like Christmas if I haven't watched It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve. So that is my absolute go-to. Doesn't even feel like Christmas without it. So It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, Claus. And that's such a good one. I need to watch. I need to start that one again. Mickey, Christmas with the Cranks. Absolutely. I love that one. So funny. Always puts me in a good mood. I think Elf is another one that's on there. And Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I'm glad you got to watch it. It's amazing. So many good ones. Keep dropping those classic or new Christmas movies. I always want some new recommendations. So I need to, Nicole, I haven't watched Spirited yet. So I'll have to add that to my list this year. Julie says Lord of the Rings. I say it counts. I absolutely think it counts. My husband would be very excited to include that in our Christmas watching. Awesome. So feel free to keep dropping those in the chat here, and I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so we are here in the Sendible dashboard. Now you're going to be able to find the RSS feed section under content. Again, this is one of the ways that we want to generate content by pulling from blogs that we work with or that we write ourselves. So you can find that here, content RSS feeds. You can also switch between the content areas over on the left-hand side. Now, with RSS feeds, you'll see that this user actually has quite a few already filled out here. While we have this load, so we've got all of these. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out first is that when you first log into your Sendible account, you will not have all of these blogs, but you'll be able to choose and add blogs that are relevant to your brand and to your clients' brands. So I'm going to walk through a few different examples about why we want to pull in blog content through RSS feeds and why we may even want to set up an auto poster to push that content live. So just to get started, I'm going to show you these over here. Here are the different blogs that so far Agency Europe has pulled in. You'll also notice that some of them have this blue dot next to them. Now, if you hover over it, it does indicate that this has an auto poster turned on. So you'll notice that when I click on Love Meow, I actually have the ability to, instead of create an auto poster, I'd actually be able to edit the settings there. So that's what it looks like once you've set up automatic posting. But before we dive in, I do want to show you how to pull in a new blog right over here. So you're going to click on New Feed, and you have a few options. Google Alerts is a great resource as well, but that's not what we're focusing on today. So here under publications and blogs, you are going to be able to search by topic or even by a URL. So for instance, let's say, and I know if some of you guys are marketing agencies, you guys are looking to share blog content around your industry. Now, one of the things that we want to talk about is social media. So we'll click on social media. We'll go through some of these and see which one of them seems like the best fit for or the best blogged content. So I can come through here and I can see that this social media today has quite a few followers, but they're not posting as regularly as the Social Media Examiner. Social Media Examiner averages 5 articles per week, which is really fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and add this feed. So that pulls this in. Again, that's just searching by topic. You also have the ability to search by URL. So for instance, sendible.com/insights is the Sendible blog. And I can actually copy and paste this URL here into the search bar, click search, and it will generate that blog if it has an RSS feed set up. Now, so those are kind of the two paths to finding and pulling blog content. Now, once we have these blog pieces, we can read through and see if some of them are relevant for our posting. And then you'll have to make a few different decisions, right? How often do you want blog content to supplement your organic content? As a strategy, you want to come up with a way that blog content fits into your strategy, but doesn't really take over your social. We know that brand pillars are an incredibly important part of social strategy, and one of them is building trust and a sense of authority. So as a marketing agency, you want to be the person and the team that is viewed as an authority on the subject of social. And so sharing relevant blog content with your audience helps you sit in that seat of authority, as long as you're sharing valuable content that is truly going to be relevant for your audience. So let's say that I'm reading through this, and you know what? Email content, email lists, coupon codes, these are not really the, maybe this is not the path that I want to go on. I can go ahead and remove this because this blog doesn't seem relevant. Instead, I'm going to commit to Sendible Insights because I think this has a ton of really relevant posts, including this one for some social media Christmas interactive posts, which is such a great article. Highly recommend. Now, one of the things you can do when checking through the blog itself, you can view the source, which takes you to the blog, or you can click the share button. This share button will take you to the compose box. But let's say that I've landed on this blog as going to be the best way to supplement the organic content about my own company. So I'm actually going to set up a new auto poster by clicking this button here. I've selected this profile because that's the feed that I am here, and I get to decide the best place to post. So I'm going to go ahead and choose LinkedIn. Again, I'm hoping that this blog helps accelerate my authority on the subject and on the field that my business is operating in. So how often do I want to get blog content? Because this is supplementing my organic content that is already going to LinkedIn, I want it to go ahead and check every 3 days for new blog content. Now, because I know and trust this brand and this blog specifically, I'm okay with this going to scheduled and being pushed live. However, if you're relatively new to the blog and you want to kind of see, I would highly recommend you move this to having it set to publish as draft. So it sends blog content to your drafts so that you can actually go and update and really customize that content to make sure that that blog piece really fits with your social strategy, but it still removes the having to look it up, right? Next, you get to decide the number of entries. I'm happy with keeping this all at yes, I want to be notified, even though it's being sent to my drafts. Now, again, because I'm looking to really, I'm not necessarily tracking how many people are going through. I really want to be I want to, again, instill that trust. I actually want to change the post type and I want to add a little bit more content. So title and description, title with link. I like title, link, and image. I like having all of this out there. For if you decide that Twitter is going to be where you're going to be sending this, maybe switch to title with link. Just the descriptions can get a little wordy and you don't want that to have issues publishing to Twitter. So again, that's going to be how you make the decision on what you want to share. Next, I'm going to go through here and I can add a prefix or a suffix. Since I'm sending this to draft, because I intend to send or update these messages with some additional content, I'm not going to add any prefix or suffix. And I don't feel the need to filter it because I do trust this blog, but I'm also going to have another chance to read it and double check that this actually fits into my social strategy. Now, all I'm going to have to do is click save. And now this blog is going to publish and it's going to check for new posts every 3 days to pull and send to my drafts folder for that LinkedIn account. Now, this is, again, really leaning on the authority standpoint. However, if I want to get my own content out because I have a blog that I'm writing, then this is another way that an auto poster could be a really good fit for your business because you know that your content you want to be pushed live to social. So one of the things that we recommend is that you can, again, you come in here, publications and blogs, and you can add search by your URL. So for instance, we can come in here and we can, I mean, pull up anything, but let's just pull up realtor.com. I know some of you work with real estate agents or estate agents. So you can come in here and you can check and see these. Obviously, this is not my blog. I don't run this, but this is really valid for relevant for my audience. So these might be ones that I want to add. However, if I wanted to, I could also pull a blog URL just based on this is a friend of mine's blog. I'm trying to remember his blog now, but you have the ability to search by the title, by the URL, or even search for just by the topic like we started with. All of it can be super helpful. One of the reasons that you would want to update your own, let's say I own this blog all about cats and I set up or Love Meow and I want to edit this auto poster. One of the things that you're going to want to control is that because it's your own blog, you want to make sure that you have the frequency set up as regularly as you want. Now, every day is how often it will check to see if the blog has published a post and how often it will scrape it. However, I do recommend, again, because this is one piece of a social strategy, you want to take full advantage of all of the different pieces. So I would because this is my own blog and I know that I post once a week, I could move this every 1 week and that would work great for me. You could also randomize it a little bit with every 48 to 72 hours, which can be really great. Just, again, pushing that organic feel, having it check and if you're pulling blog content once an hour or you're attempting to, that is not necessarily going to be the most valuable for your audience. And so you want to make sure that even if it's your own blog, this frequency is really resonating with how often you're publishing and how often you want that blog content out. And if it was my own blog, more than likely I would actually switch it to scheduled so that I could have it immediately go live. I don't really need to come and check that, right? But again, because it's my own blog, I'm also going to come in here and I'm going to add add a pref or a suffix and visit our website or blog to learn more, right? Because I would love for them to not only click on the link, not only go and read this blog post, but I want them to actually know that there is more to be had. And so I'm going to add a suffix here because it is my blog and I want people going and checking that out. Awesome. Okay, so that is kind of a few different ways that you can really take advantage of our uh, RSS feeds as well as our RSS feed auto poster. There is so much that you can do with it, but I do want to kind of impress upon all of us that the best way to show off our blog content is to have it be one piece of a really healthy social media strategy. And this can be a great way to be pulling some really relevant stuff. Awesome. Let's see if we have any questions in here. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions, but I will invite, oh, it looks like we have somebody typing, so maybe in a minute here. Hi, Ron. Ron asked, hi, Julie. Ron asked, please show what the draft looks like. Absolutely, happy to. So
I'll come back later.
Okay, sounds good. So when you push blog content to your drafts, you'll come over to the publish section and you'll come to drafts. And then you'll want to actually filter it by profile. Now, this was going to Cats Are Idiots. So this is blog content that is coming in and being pushed to the drafts folder. Now, you'll notice, again, this is every day. It was checking to see checking the blog to see if it had valuable content. And at any point, I could come into this draft section and say, oh, this is amazing, edit and schedule, right? This draft pulled in that valuable blog content, pulled it the page that I wanted it to go to, and I can hit send. So you have that flexibility. The auto poster can be something that is pushing it live automatically, or it can be storing a valuable piece of content that I can then come in and add maybe some relevant hashtags and some brand hashtags. So things like that before hitting send, that can be such a great way to make sure that this is viewed as helpfully as possible. Great question. Okay, Ron has another question is, can the auto poster insert an aggregated link into a custom template? This is a great question. I am not 100% sure. Julie, let me invite you on and have you help me answer this great question.
This is where Julie pops in. No, that's not possible. Sorry. We don't have, yeah, there's no, I mean, even if you had custom fields, I can't, at least right now off the top of my head, imagine how you could tie that together with links from a blog automatically. So yeah, that not something I can do. More than one link. It usually it is basically you certainly can copy and paste. That's up to you. And the workflow that Savannah just showed us about sending things to draft status, you could copy and paste like 3 of those and put that into one message and send that out. That's certainly something that you could do a little bit manually, but the ideas and the links would be there for you waiting. And Ron's typing. He's got more. Yes, that is the point. RSS feeds are best used as content suggestions rather than just automatically defining your social media strategy. They really do, especially if you bring in them from several sources and put them all in the draft area and then just kind of scroll through that and say, which ones do I actually want to share? That's going to keep you from getting into trouble with the social networks as well, as far as appearing as an automated bot account. I also want to emphasize too that there's oftentimes a disconnect, I suppose you could call it, between the number of times the blog actually posts. If there's on average, one blog post a week, there is no need for you to set up an auto poster that's checking that blog every hour. Once a day, once a week, once every 3 days is going to be more appropriate for that. And I can also tell you that it's not instantaneous. That if you were to publish a post to your blog, it will not automatically, instantly show up in the RSS feed and automatically, instantly be published if you have it set to auto publish. So there is a delay in when that works its way through all of the systems. And sometimes it can be significant, as in a day or so, sometimes multiple days, depending on the traffic to the website and a few other things, number of followers and that number of posts. So yeah, just don't expect that it will, the instant you publish something to your blog, that will immediately go out in social media. If you want to do that, that's something you're going to want to do through other means.
Yeah. And if that's really an urgent need, then you can manually get that pushed through very quickly through scheduling through Sendible. But the RSS auto poster is really a way to generate ideas and to be pulling from multiple valuable sources for your audience. Absolutely. Do we have any other questions about how to take advantage of this feature, or different kind of questions about how to make sure that you're using it in the best way possible? Because like Julie said, we don't want to appear as a bot or push spammy content through social media. Really, all of the platforms are very serious about upholding their community guidelines. And so we want to be good friends in that space. We want to operate within the bounds that they have set so that we are all able to enjoy it to its fullest. And one of the ways you can do that is make sure that you're providing value. And blog content is one way of doing that, but it can't be the only way that you choose to provide value for your team. It's just going to be one of those awesome additions to things that you guys are already doing really well. So share about your team, share about your local experience, share, and then add on top of all of that great team, like brand awareness, things about your store. You can then add things about the industry that you're working in to help, again, generate more interest, bring people in, help widen your audience. It can be a great addition.
Ron, I keep thinking about your questions there, and what you've proposed is really quite interesting. If you subscribed to a bunch of RSS feeds, I mean, if you're talking about LinkedIn, you want to appear as an authority on a particular subject, subscribe to any old RSS feed you can get your hands on, drop them all into the draft status, go and pick 1 or 2 or 3 from various blogs, put them in there and say, here's my finds of the week or my daily suggestions. That would be huge. That would be a very beneficial piece of social, an emphasis on social
Absolutely.
engagement.
And it would be you really doing it. Theoretically, it would be you doing the work of finding all of this great content for them.
The word is curating. And yeah, that's extremely valuable.
Absolutely. Ron, I totally get that. The manual process of looking through and reading multiple blogs, while valuable and certainly important, bringing in even if you didn't want to set it to the auto poster, if you just wanted to set up an RSS feed, you have, I can show you now. All you have to do is go through these auto posts, through the RSS feeds, and I can read multiple articles or even just the beginning. So, floppy cats, I can click on this and I can see, oh, thanks. I didn't actually hit the button.
Yeah.
So exciting. So I can actually open up if I click on one of these RSS feeds, I can read a short version or the beginning of this blog. This one actually has a ton of fantastic pictures in it. You can also see that you can click on the view source. Some blogs like Sendible include the kind of highlight reel and the beginning of that article. But if you want to read more, you're actually going to be able to click on that view source button, which takes you directly to the blog piece itself and allows you to read the whole thing. But again, the ability to curate at an, I mean, just saves you so much time because it's all pulled into one spot.
I would say the difference between simply leaving them as RSS feeds, as Savannah was showing, versus also adding an auto poster set to draft status, is that the auto poster would, your draft area of Sendible would then be kind of a chronological link of stuff
Mm,
from many places, as opposed to when you're in the RSS feeds alone, you're only looking at one feed at a time. And some may be, days old or a week old, and others might be days. So there might be reasons to choose one or the other.
absolutely. And there's just so much value in being able to bring all of those pieces in and being able to kind of, again, communicate with your audience. And there's a lot of great info out there. Awesome. While one thing I did want to mention before we left this area, I did want to mention that setting up an auto poster does count as a profile. Now, this is something we want to make sure we communicate super clearly because it actually operates with an API call. So it is a service that we're providing to comb those and to publish them either live or to your drafts folder. So if you set up an auto poster, just know that that is going to be a part of your profile allocation. But I do really think that for specific people, Ron, you sound like a great use case where an auto poster is absolutely worth it. And it would totally save you valuable time while still providing that incredible service to your audience. So keep that in mind as you guys consider how auto posters may work for you or how you can best utilize them, whether or not they're a good fit for all of your brands or maybe just one or two. Definitely keep all of those pieces in mind. But I'm going to go ahead and do a last call on questions. Does anybody have any other questions for me or for Julie? Julie has a wide variety of knowledge, and we can totally spend the last 3 minutes asking her questions.
I just do want to make clear that adding RSS feeds does not count against profiles. Adding them as an auto poster does. So, yeah.
Good clarification. Thanks.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you guys, as always, it has been a joy to spend our Thursday afternoon with you. I look forward to seeing you all next week. We will, let's see, we are going to be talking about our profile lists, which is such a great feature, a ton that you can do with that again. And so we'll have my colleague Anne is going to be taking care of that one. So you don't want to miss it. Same time, same place. We will see you next week. Have a good one, guys. Bye.